now. All right.
Yeah,
A little bit later than normal, but we're here. Welcome everyone
it's
to Off
me.
Script.
It's me. What can I say?
Welcome everyone to Off Script, and of course for today we have a very special guest, fashionably laid. It's Joseph Skulldron Knight. Hi Scully, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. Everybody, excuse the green screen. Normally, I'll show my background, my arcade machines and whatnot, but wife's ripping the house apart so we can get some Christmas stuff out. So,
Always Christmas.
always Christmas.
Always Christmas. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a different show than normally because not only are you a character on the show and Scully, the general manager, leader of the organization, for what that's the word, you're also the owner of WWO. So we're going to talk little bit about business, and we're going to close the stream with a couple of announcements. But I want to start off with something simple, I guess. What are your thoughts on Halloween horror now that we have that behind us?
You know, sitting down and designing the backgrounds and everything. I think it was one of our best shows compared to Summer Bash. With Summer Bash, I like to say this: Summer Bash was our pinnacle, and now we have to use Summer Bash as a stepping stone. So each show after has to be a little bit better, than the previous one. So I really enjoyed all the stuff that goes on. I know I had a couple people ask me about the whole thing about Jocelyn and the organization. We'll go into that as well. But yeah, it's kind of those things where I enjoyed. I wanted to do something different, and I'm glad we did. And like I said, I enjoyed every match. I enjoyed the promos that everybody submitted. So that, yeah, pretty much, man.
We had very few emissions, and also hi Jim, welcome. Hi Selena, and hi Jeremy. Welcome all to chat. Um, yeah, we've been growing pretty steadily, I would say. Halloween Horror was another success. Um, how do you feel about the way our show has been growing over, especially the last year?
You know, we've seen such great improvements, and that's one of the things I gotta say. Out of working with everybody from David King LG, from yourself, and from Jeremy the Madman, I think we have grown by leaps and bounds. And we've learned the games better. We learned how to edit better. We've learned how to add little things in together, the cutscenes. So I actually look back at our couple of our early shows, WWO shows, and I have to say that you could see the big difference, especially in people's promos. So I'm really proud of everybody who was in this insane organization, or should I say insane promotion, that we're all getting
Just
we're
just
we're
just
getting
make sure we're
there.
not getting confusion when you say organization. I get it.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll keep it as promotion. There you go.
that's probably safer. But yeah, a lot of growth, like you mentioned. We didn't miss a lot of promos, which is really good. Think it's fair to say that a lot of people have been getting more consistent with getting the promos in. Mentioned this a little bit with Jeremy last week. Some people could do with a little bit more punctuality when it comes to that. But overall, the promos have been arriving. How do you feel about the quality of the promos?
The I think they're greatly improved. I gotta say, for me, who's been in the wrestling business, to see people do promos who've never been in the wrestling business, minus Jeremy, myself, and Shane, and Jocelyn for that, to see a TMX, to see a Hellbilly, to see a King LG, to see yourself, Johnny, and a couple others, to see you guys pushing these promos, it just makes me excited for the shows itself. Because even though I know the outcomes and we discuss the outcomes, There are times I even tell everybody, yourself included, I don't want to see the promos. I'll see some of it if I have like a concern of like how it's going to go. Um, Overall, I think I know you guys deliver big, and they have been just greatly improving.
Yeah, that does remind me of early on when we just started WWO, where I did say, Scully, you really need to look at these people's promos because some of them just don't fly. Some of them we cannot use. Uh,
Especially Johnson and the F words.
yeah, yeah. But we've reached a point where we actually don't really need to do that with the usual folks, so that's a good thing. Um, Probably should still keep a close eye on any new people when they arrive, but yeah, we've had consistency in the promos in both delivery as well as quality, I feel, and that's a good thing. Some of them are actually really improving, some people, and you know who you are because we tell you personally. Um, but Scully, if you do have anyone you want to shout out in particular,
Well, well, definitely not Cooper Potter. I know I'm gonna do a shout out to the entire roster because Chim, Jocelyn, yourself, Johnny, the LG, Mr. G, Shane, Jeremy, OSU Phoenix. I mean, I could go down the entire roster, and I gotta say that I'm gonna give them all props because one, that keeps the bullseye off of me. Like you didn't mention my name. Uh, two, two, I think everybody has stepped up. When we started this, I always said we got a break in the tiers. And you know what I mean when I say tiers. There is the elites that can cut a promo and can give it to you really strong, like a Shane Black, like yourself, like a Jocelyn, like a Chim, Jeremy. And then everybody else below that kind of just filtered in there, like, well, we'll see what we get from them. Surprisingly, and I'm very happy for it. A lot of those people that came from that lower tier, like finally stepped up to become that elite. So we got many elites now that can cut a promo and really hit it out of the park. So I'm very proud of everyone for doing that.
I think it's probably a good thing to mention because last time we were on the podcast was when we did a little bit of a trial run for the off script after we stopped the other podcast, and
Yes.
um, one of the things we mentioned was please give us a reason to second guess our booking decisions, and I think a lot of people have given us that. Just the promos where you think, there probably is more in this person. We probably should do more with this person. Probably does deserve an extra acolyte. So yeah, I think over the last couple of months we've seen a lot of people step up.
And here's the other thing. I want to throw this in as well. The We know many of us, King LG, David, does multiple characters, you know, and to deliver on being a member of Cuba's Finest with his dad, being a member of the Dutch OG Dangerously Crazy team,
Hold on.
being himself as King LG and his dad as Mr. G, you see that, and then you see, the other aspects, everybody does that, has multiple characters, and they go in there and they can perform and they can do that. It is, I think it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch, especially when a certain somebody who was anonymous, um, you know, did,
Hold on a second.
Marvin, I think Mike.
Yeah. My apologies. I forgot to turn something off and things went to absolute shit.
I still don't see anything.
Yeah, might need a little bit of a refresh.
There we go.
Should be all right. Selena asks back. Please let me know if you actually see us because seeing the chat is helpful.
Yeah, I'm opening up my Discord to see.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, Now you were talking about.
It wouldn't be a WWO product with me included if it wasn't for it having technical difficulties. I think even the off scripts hates me. Um,
Yeah, I mean it just comes with the territory, man. On off scripts, we always need to take the piss out of you, and if there's no one to take the piss out of you, the stream needs to do it themselves. So yeah,
exactly.
it's
We're
um,
good.
it's just
We're good.
all part of the canonical plan. So we were talking about the promos. I'm not sure how far into it you
I'll
got
just
before.
repeat. I'll just repeat what I said.
Yeah,
When it
probably
comes,
good stuff from scratch.
yeah, I'm gonna say again from everybody, the from top to bottom, everybody has improved great. Yeah, there we go. I can hear it all. All right, turn that off. So, um, in my case, like I said, from everybody, we had the elite group, and the elites was Shane, Jeremy, yourself, Jocelyn, Chim. We had that little elite group who always made it up to the top. And then you had everybody else who submitted promos but didn't really get into it. And after the show started taking off, after multiple different promotions and everything like that, um, everybody started really taking up another level. So now you see like like David LG, who does multiple characters with his dad. We do the whole me with the organization, and then you with Anonymous and all that stuff. You know, um, OSU Phoenix. Everybody's now moved up. It's now no longer tiers. Now everybody's in that one spot, so it's hard. You really now we really can't say we have no elite and lower tiers. Everybody gets together and does that. So and it's good to see everybody's getting involved, and being part of this. So
Absolutely. Now, um, bit more of an egotistical question. How do you feel about the podcast? We've
about off scripts.
yeah, about all scripts. We've been doing
Well,
it
I'm
for
glad.
2 months roughly now.
I really am enjoying off scripts because one, I don't have to do it. Two, uh, two, I think again, we've always created off scripts to be that product to kind of have something away from the wrestling shows, if you want to call it that, and having different members of the roster on. It's like pushing our superstars. You get to know the people behind the scenes. You get to learn about the chim kicks. You get to learn about the Shanes and Jeremys and all that. You get to see them as real people. And I'm gonna say this: when you had David on LG, like I've seen this kid grow, and he's an adult now, but I've seen him grow from a little kid doing promos to basically become an adult and grow with our business, with us. And for him to say, hey, I'm going to be a firefighter and EMT and all that, that impressed me a lot, because I'm like, oh, wow, I did not know that. There are certain things I didn't know about the talent. You know, Jocelyn's way, Anthony's way, Hellbilly, and Jeremy. You learn so much from everybody, and you really want to go. You want to keep doing these. And I really appreciate this now taking the spot for everyone. Like taking that one spot that we have for another podcast, and it fits right in.
Yeah, I gotta say I've absolutely been enjoying it, except for the 3 times it crashed now. The 2 previous times was with Jeremy. This one with you now. But whatever. It's been a lot of fun to do. I've got to learn quite a few things about the town that we have. Um, try to take some inspiration from a few podcasters that I enjoy, namely Chris Van Vliet, which I mentioned on the Anthony
Yes.
podcast, mainly because um, someone in the chat, I can't remember who, uh, wanted to ask what are three things you're grateful for, and I did mention I don't want to become Chris Van Vliet, very inspirational guy, but I don't just want to copy what he's doing. Um, so yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, I've absolutely been enjoying doing this. We still have quite a few guests to go. I know Mr. G is coming next week, not on Friday because um, he's not
Available, yeah.
yeah he's not free on Friday. So it's going to be the Monday or the Tuesday for next week. The week after that we have TMX, which is really interesting because he's new. He's properly new. Uh, Barely any one of us knows quite a bit about TMX, so that's going to be interesting. Still have to reschedule with Chim, of course, who missed hers when she was sick. And yeah, there's still plenty of people on the roster to talk to. And once we've gone through everyone, we can just start over again because we will have more months of shows to talk about with them. So this should be going for quite a while.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we by that time we start getting more talent in and everybody wants to be part of it, you know. And that's one of the things I again when I look how you guys been doing this and that's Chris using Chris as a staple and using that format helps greatly. And it you're building up that podcast, like making it into what we're doing now. And the previous ones you guys have been doing or you've been doing, it's been really following that pattern. And I'm glad that you're keeping this going because we'll go into it later how things have been crazy not only for myself but for the rest of the talent.
Yeah, and indeed, Selena, once you get further into the thick of it, you can definitely be a guest on here. Absolutely, looking forward to it.
Talk about someone who needs a filter.
It's a 15-minute prep time. I'm gonna go over the rules with you. No excessive swearing. Jocelyn did fine. She got a couple in, but that's allowed. You know,
Yeah, what you got to do is wire up the chairs so whenever they say a curse word, I guarantee they'll stop. They'll either encourage it or take it back. The demoness, I don't know. Maybe the demoness will like that.
encourage it. That's. Hmm. I guess you do get to learn more about people if that's the case. But yeah, probably not things you want to know. Anyway, we've we've got Halloween Horror behind us. Our upcoming show, which we will talk more about in a bit, is shaping up to be good. We've discussed everything that's gonna happen on the show. I'm looking forward to it. Next big show is happening in January, formerly known as Warzone. We're gonna keep the announcement for it for later. But after Warzone, or what Warzone is gonna be, we're going to Wrestle Clash, which would be the end of this season. How excited are you to end the year that we've had so far?
You know, to think about it, I think what would that one be? The third Wrestle Clash?
Yeah,
Is it? To know we're like an hour WrestleMania 3, you know. It's it's insane when you think about it because we've been doing this now for 3 years and we've lost a couple of people, gained new people. Talent has stood up and really taken taking the lead on doing stuff. Man, it's just so wild to like sit back and see how we started and how we went from that earlier WWE 2K game to currently now. And it's pretty much, it's such a joy to see this. And it just, each time I sit down and I sit back, when I do commentary with Jeremy, when I do these shows, it's just the inside of me gets ready, and it's like, wow, what are we going to do? And just like in real professional wrestling and the real WWO, doing this version of WWO just still is the same excitement, because until we get in there and until we start recording and we start interacting, me and Jeremy, it basically becomes like almost WrestleMania. And when you get to that state, when you get knowing that you're hitting a pinnacle right now, and Wrestle Clash is our next pinnacle, which is the biggest show for us, and then it ends that season and a new one opens. That's exciting for me because I can sit back and say, "Man, you guys have progressed so well." You know, we joke and everything. You guys, and I'm going to give you prop, Marvin. You and Jeremy, you guys do the matches for not only for the big shows, but for Slam and Stream. David does matches for Zone, and I do live and Women of Wrestling. If we didn't have that team, everybody, we wouldn't be able to produce these shows. And now with you doing this off scripts, it just keeps another added level. And I know I've had talent like Selena come up to me and wanted to do it. Monica wanted to do another, like a little side NXT type show. And I said, well, we got to see where everything fits first. We're not going to overburden each other. So, but considering how far we've come, how far the technology is, you know, it is so, it's so much fun just watching these matches play out. And even though we know the outcome, those matches, seeing them like the whole Cooper Potter thing. Who would have known the AI was going to jump down off the ring and run around and attack Jim, creating an iconic character? One little AI thing, how the AI controls Toxic Attraction and all their double team moves, and the Sextons and all that, and all the other people. I think when you see stuff like that happen, and then when you see it, like when we record it, and the reaction from Jeremy sitting next to me, or my reaction from watching you guys when you do a match, and I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to see the match. I want to see it when it's right there. You're going to get my pure emotional feeling in it. And there are times I try not to laugh because, I'm the bad guy on this stuff. So, but seeing something happen like unexpectedly, it just makes me explode with laughter. And we all know my job is to bust Jeremy's balls and make him laugh.
Hey, you tend to be fairly successful with that too. So yeah,
It
good
wouldn't it wouldn't
good
be a
job, man.
show. It wouldn't be a show because I can't say, like one personal show. It has to be like every show me and Jeremy on. My main goal, my number one goal in that whole show, if I can crack them up and make them laugh, then the rest of the show is going to be great
Yeah,
because the promos are perfect. The promos are great. The matches are exceptional. The little skits in between that we added in, but it sets the tone for the show if I can get Jeremy to laugh. And once that happens, then the show, I can say, okay, we know where this is going to go. And like, give you an example, when I say chimichanga, look, Chimmy just got chungad or something. That sets the theme of the show. Like okay, we're going to try to be serious, but he's going to bust out laughing eventually. And that's my goal.
yeah, I do think it's funny that the very few times I've been in commentary with Jeremy, the one thing you say beforehand, try to make him crack.
Yes.
That's always the commentary you give me. Try to make him crack. Try to make him laugh.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you know what? It
I don't
sets, it
always follow
makes the
that, but
shows. Yeah. For me, it makes effing y'all. It makes the show more personable. You can have a Michael Cole sitting next to someone. Yeah, it's a headlock and wrist lock. Oh yeah, we'll be back on this. when you make it personal and you can interject feeling, emotion, when you're for us that are sitting in that commentary booth and we're just yakking away watching a video game match go on, that video game match now becomes something more because now the emotion is in it, and that's what makes our show so different from everybody else. I've seen a couple of little e-feds, nothing personal. I like certain e-feds, and it's just dry. When you see ours, we have personality, and I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. Now,
And doing the unexpected on Jeremy, like either the little mini Reaper or Godzilla eating me or something like that, you gotta
yeah,
have that. That's
yeah,
that's me.
yeah. Now you did mention the next Wrestle Clash is going to be Wrestle Clash 3. We've been doing this for almost 3 years at that point. Um, what you also mentioned is the way the shows are divided between the people doing the matches. And I do remember in our first year when we were talking logistics and how many shows we want to do, I did mention to you I would love to have a weekly schedule where we just have a show every single week. And I also told you that can't happen now, and it's something we're gonna have to work towards. And quite honestly, that went a little bit faster than I hoped it would, but it's been going well, and it's a testament to the way we've been growing WWO since the very start of it.
Yeah, I remember that conversation, and we used to do it once a month.
Yeah,
We used to do it one show, I think Slam and Stream, and we we did that. And I said, Marvin, I don't think we got the manpower to do this, And at the time, it was just maybe just you, me, or Jeremy, and then LG got involved. And now look at us. Every week we have a show. You know, we have Women of Wrestling that opens up the month. We have WWO Zone with Jeremy. We have Live with me, and then we got either a Slam and Stream or big show like a Wrestle Clash or something that comes on. And sometimes if there's 5 weeks in a month, then you'll see a Slam and Stream to build up to that next show. So it's a testament to everybody involved, to like people. We already are situated with the who's going to do what and encouraged to deliver. And what I appreciate from not only yourself, from Jeremy, from LG especially, is that, hey, do you need me to help with a match? Do you need this? Everybody jumps on it. And we all have real lives. We can't do this all the time. So I'm glad we kind of broke it down to maybe even down to like 4 or 5 matches per show. And that
yeah.
usually works for the best.
And the way we've been working behind the scenes when it comes to spreadsheets, planning, that's really been improving over the last couple of months too, which was necessary to make sure everything ran smoothly. But it's another learning moment, and we've grown in that department too.
Exactly. If it wasn't for your idea with the learning, with the spreadsheets, you know me. I book shows 6 months in advance. That's always been my thing, even in real professional wrestling. I have not. I've been in that wrestling and been in wrestling for years, and I've got to say that whenever I do book shows, I'm like, okay, guys, we're gonna go from here to here. Here's the roadmap. I look at it 2 ways. Here's the beginning. This is where we're gonna go, and this is the end story. We got to fill in the rest. So this person's going to start out champion. This person's going to be the next champion. How do we get there? And sometimes I work in reverse. Okay, Jeremy's the world champion. How do we go back to Jeremy being the contender to get to that point? So the spreadsheets have been great because, hey, I'm getting old. I'm like, what, Marvin? What the fuck was that? What the? See, I said the F word. That's for you, Jocelyn. Um, a tribute to you, a prop to you. Um, how do we do this? And sometimes I'll just plain forget. And you'll say, look at the spreadsheet, and thankfully everything is there.
And I also gotta say, we've had multiple times where we discuss plans, and sometimes you're talking to Jeremy and you make plans, and you mention them to me. I'll try to make a note of them. Then I'll talk to Jeremy and we discuss a few things, and then I'll run it by you, and then suddenly we book people double, and it's like, oh crap, I thought we planned that person in the tag match, but now we haven't booked for the triple threat, and how is that gonna work? We don't have the problem anymore. That's very thankfully we now have consistent notes to make sure that we have a plan. Let's look at that, see if it actually fits, and if it doesn't, we'll see when it fits. And if it's not on that
Right.
show, it's on a different show. And that's been a tremendous help to make sure everything runs smoothly. It makes things less stressful to actually make the shows. Also, hi Terry.
Hey, Terry. Good to have you, and good to see everybody popping in here. And all the, yeah, you need to eat ice cream. No, yeah, I know that'll be a tribute to her. No, I'm gonna leave the ice cream eating to her. So that's her thing. So
Now we talked a little bit about business, but like I mentioned at the start, you're also a character. You're Scully the GM, the leader of the organization. And I want to know, as the person playing the character instead of the booker, what are your thoughts on Jocelyn betraying the organization, moving to the freak show together with the Reapers and Wade?
being as in character, my character would be furious. Like I've been ultimately betrayed, and I've been kicked aside after everything I've done, done for that my demon is, and all for those boneheaded breaking them out of jail and all this. That would have been my character. Like for myself, I think it's a great thing. It's a in professional wrestling, you have to make decisions that move people forward. And I think in this situation, the organization, as you know, has been around for 3 years. We've done everything. We've beaten everybody. We've held championships. We've lost championships. Thanks for that guy in the mask. No, I meant this way. Okay, this way. Yeah, that guy over there. You know, so we've had interesting storylines. So for us now to say, as the organization, as myself, I'm stepping back. The organization needs to keep going. Not really necessarily needs to keep going, but the characters involved in it need to evolve now without Scully. And plus, for myself, I love that challenge. I love that my character has always been more the commentator. So to vent that anger, like God damn it, Jocelyn, you betrayed me for that madman, and those bone. Well, you know what? Great to have him having the boneheads, because I guarantee they're going to run his bill up. They'll steal something. Japanese Fukuoka speed train, a bullet train. So
Well,
stuff like that.
maybe Jeremy can actually keep them in line, together with Jack. That could also be a thing.
Oh, we will see when that happens. We will see when that happens.
Maybe the problem
You
was
know.
you, Scully. Have you ever thought of that? Huh?
Oh, see, everybody blames Scully. I try to bring a hopeful family project. I've been misunderstood, misled, misrepresented, misrepresented. Yeah, something like that. I have been made fun of. The only person that can make a fool out of me is myself, and that's the character, folks.
You kind of dabbled into it a little bit, but what is next for the Scully character?
That's a good question. And for me, I've never, it's almost like Bobby Heenan. I'm going to use the late great Bobby Heenan. Loved his commentary style. That's where I kind of pick up. There's three people I love being, or mixing Scully's character as. Bobby the Brain Heenan, definitely Jim Cornette, and Jesse the Body Ventura. I would have won that if they would have left me on the ballot. Um, those characters are what makes me who I was, and especially in the wrestling business. For Scully right now, he's going to be in denial. He's going to be upset. He's going to be wondering what to do next. After all, I still have King LG and I have the Hellbelly. On the other side of that is, like I said, you got the rebellion that left the Empire. You have, Jocelyn, the Reapers, and Wade who joined Jeremy. So Scully is going to be a little bit upset. Is going to be upset with her and little beaten down. What is going to happen next for the character? He's basically going to be that aggravated guy on camera for the commentary. Behind the scenes, it's going to be a whole mess of plotting and a planning back then.
Good. Now, what are your thoughts on commentary? You've been doing commentary with Jeremy for a good while at this point. How do you feel about your dynamic with Jeremy?
Oh, it's great. There's been in the wrestling business and over my 30 or more years in the wrestling business. Um, I have to say there's been two commentators in my time who I've had the extreme pleasure of sitting next to. It was the guy who used to work with me called Barry Third Degree Burns, and he was exactly Jeremy. He would hit you, he would hit me and keep me in place and all that. The dynamic with Jeremy is great because he's in the wrestling business. He understands my timing, and we get that. He understands he's the play-by-play guy. I'm the comedy relief guy. That's all I want to be. So the dynamic is he's going to hit you with that move, this, and that move, and he's going to play it straight as possible. My thing is, okay, here's my opening. Fuck you. I'm going to throw in I'm going to throw in some crazy comments that he's going to break up in, or he's just going to stop and look at me. There's another person, and I'm sorry I forgot this, and I'm going to say it on this show. Chris, basically Trent Killer Chris. We had a great chemistry as well. So between in real life version WWO, Barry Third Degree Burns with Chris, and now with Jeremy, I gotta say I've been having a lot of fun. And let me just throw in, when I do commentary with the other members of our roster, a Chim Kicks, a Jocelyn, it's so great to see them progressing and leveling up, that they're trying to get to that level and they're succeeding now. So, and that's why I'm so happy to see Jocelyn and Chim doing commentary on Women of Wrestling. Gives them their platform. So, but as for me, yeah, I gotta say WWO, Jeremy's definitely the type of guy I want to sit next to in commentary. Hell, if I can get him to do a real show with me, you will see the same dynamic. There'll be no changes whatsoever.
That's good to hear. Now, do you think that came naturally to the two of you, or did it take a little bit of time to really get into that?
No, I think it actually flowed perfectly right off the start, because we're both from the wrestling business. And the best thing is he understands the commentary style. This is the commentary style I want out of you. And I've told him, this is what I need. This is how this is how I need to function. I need that straight guy to give you my point. Like in Scully's mind, in the character Scully's mind, it is the bad guys are the good guys. He's going to root for them and he's going to make sure they get in there. He's going to win. His guys are always number one, and Shane and all the good guys suck. So that's kind of my thing. And as far as the dynamic is, when you sit there and you see us, we rarely overlap one another. We will say, hey, hey, and I cut him off. Sometimes it will happen, but most of the time, 99.9, we really play it off to a hilt. I know when he's going to stop, I throw in my stuff. He knows when to rebuttal and then keep going. That is a true testament to commentary. That's how two individuals from the same background can understand the wrestling business. I see it now with Jocelyn and Chim. They're getting there. They're learning. So anybody else, like, you jumping in occasionally, other people have come in. I want to see that dynamic. I want to see them become their own characters in commentary, but learn from us to see the flow. And I think that's the main thing, is understanding one another's timing and the flow of the show, and knowing when to eject the right amount of either comedy or seriousness into it. And character. That's another thing. Character. When Scully screams, Ralphus! You know that there's no Ralphus, but there is. You quickly says, oh shit, he's calling Ralphus.
There's no
That's it.
Ralphus. You just
There's no
shattered
Ralph.
that. You just shattered people's dreams, Scully. How dare you?
Oh no, I bet you I can get a Ralphus and we'll have him on off script sometime.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. So,
Yeah, that Scully is fucked. He's an asshole.
do you think the dynamic is going to change now that Jack McDaniel is going to become Jack Halco?
I hope not. And I want the two characters still to be separated, because you do have Jeremy the Madman, and let's face it, Jeremy plays both characters. And I know it's hard when you're doing one specific character, like Jeremy the Madman, and Jack McDaniel is his alter ego, and he has to play it straight. You can't deviate, because then the other character, then you just might as well be just with Jeremy the Madman. I'm hoping that he can keep the character the same way. Yeah, you can show a little bias towards the freak show and all that, but it's like me. I there are times you'll see me. I root for the Sexton sisters, the Golden Nuggets, and I'll cheer for LG and the Hellbelly and everybody else. But oh God, why am I cheering? I'm never going to cheer for Showtime Shane Black or Anonymous or Marvin Dallas or this. That's the character. That's why I'm hoping Jeremy can keep it straight like that, so it doesn't bleed over too much. Since they almost could be twins. Twins. Maybe one
They
day
look nothing
Jeremy the
alike.
Madman's.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
well,
They look nothing alike. They're completely different.
you know what? Maybe you could. Yeah, you know what? Maybe a little bit of. Yeah, we could say it. Yeah, well, if there's a little slight difference, maybe Jeremy the Madman can sneak in and harass Scully on the doing commentary. We know Wade is a great conversational piece, so I know he's not going to step in commentary.
Can't wait till I have him on all scripts. That's going to be great. But yeah, you mentioned Jocelyn and Chin commentary for Women of Wrestling. I personally think they've really grown as a
Yes.
commentary team. What are your things that you've seen them getting better at, and maybe even things you think they can improve upon?
The timing, I think, is improving better. Now they're not just two random girls working together, even though they have been working together and doing promos against one another. But now they're in that dynamic. They have to sit together and they have to commentate. I want them to stay true to their characters. That's some advice. I also want them to really feel their timing and and how they can relate to each other. Because right now it's like Chim has done stuff to Jocelyn. Jocelyn has done stuff to Chim. They shouldn't be that goody girl thing between each other. According to they in characters, they're not supposed to war with each other, but they can still banter a little bit without letting it go overboard. So I think honestly, they have improved, and I'm very proud of both girls, both women, that they took that brand, they're making it their own, and they're improving on each other. They have to both learn when is the right time to stop, let the other one talk, let the one talk, and then jump in. They still need that timing, but they are way better than they started. So I'm proud of both girls.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that when people are on commentary, they tend to just ramble a bit and they try to do a little bit too much. Not specifically mentioning you, don't worry. But I feel like that's a big trap for people to fall in. Is when they're on commentary, they just try to chat and continue chatting, and eventually it doesn't really lead anywhere. I kind of feel, and I'm not saying this to throw them under the bus, that Chim and Jocelyn had the same when they started out, and I think that's one of the things they really improved upon. They can get to the point so much better, which makes the show flow better, in my opinion.
Absolutely. They have to learn to give each other that equals timing. And again, Chim is play by play. If in any professional wrestling, you can go back to the 80s, you can go back to the 90s, you can go to the current. The play by play guy dominates the play by play person dominates most of the commentary because they have to get all the moves in. They have to get the theme, the feeling of what's going on. The color commentator, which is myself and Jocelyn in their show, she has to interject the right amount of energy and timing right there. When Chim has to do her part, stop. See if Jocelyn can jump in. Again, timing. You have to feel it. You have to feel that moment when you should interject. So whenever, like, say, Jocelyn is Chim is saying something, it's like, oh my God, they did this, and she stops to, like, say, catch breath. Jocelyn jumps in and says something, and then the flow keeps going. Watch, like, I'm not gonna say me and Jeremy is perfect, but I think we are to that point of perfection. Look at other commentators: Jim Ross, Jerry King Lawler, for a perfect example. Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, Tony Schiavone and others. You look at how their commentary style is, learn, and then make your own version of it, and that'll be. I think they'll get there. They're right now a lot better than what they were when they started. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely. But again, it takes timing and really getting the feel for each other and interjecting their characters without becoming overboard, And for Chim, being not only the GM and the play-by-play person, you have to kind of balance a little bit more because now you're the leader of the brand, you're leading the show, and you're discussing the matches. Jocelyn has to now jump in with either a sarcastic thing with her demoness character and says, "Oh, I can kick her ass," or something funny, or "Chim, you and me going to go rumble next." Stuff like that. It needs to develop.
Yeah. Now, a bit of a behind the scene question. I do think you had to record something later tonight, right? For the
Yes.
next show. All right. So I'm not gonna keep you too long, but there's one more thing that I did want to mention before we head to the announcements.
Well, I think we can stretch it a little longer. We'll say it's
Okay.
8 o'clock now. We'll stretch it a little longer, till at least 9, and then because everything is, I just got to set everything up with Jeremy. We'll record with
Okay.
Chim, and then we're good. So, but
Wonderful.
go ahead.
Wonderful. Now, I don't have a ton of things to mention, but I did want to ask how you feel about one of the changes we made because, of course, when we started off, you didn't have the games and you were part of the booking, but not part of creating the matches. Now, fast forward, you're doing two shows with Live and Women of Wrestling. I think out of the four people that create matches, you were probably the least experienced when it comes to the modern wrestling games. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
How do you feel you've improved when it comes to creating the matches?
You know, very great. That's a great question because when I first started, I did not know the controls well. I did not know the cut scenes, the little things. And even for me, I take a big um I take a big inspiration from watching LG David do Zone's matches, and I can see how he does it, the cutscenes and all that. It took me a while to learn and try to adapt it to become better. And the funny thing is, when you see WWO live, I'm very chaotic. I came from the realm of extreme, so I like the action packed. You know, I like a little bit of chaos because wouldn't be Scully's show without being chaotic. To do that and then learn how these matches operate, how to turn off certain HUDs, how to timing of each game, when is to reverse, when is to hit a finisher, when is how to get that. My dogs are barking next to me. Hey, get out of here, you little crazy kids. Go bother Ralphus.
We have a little bit of dog on screen, which I'm
Yeah,
sure no one
yeah,
minds.
yeah. They're somewhere around there now, but damn dog. But yeah, though, to learn and to see how you do it, how Jeremy does it, how LG does it, especially. I picked up all that, and then thank God for YouTube, where I can look up how to do this and put all those together. It basically breaks down to, like, it's just now a lot more fun to do this and to see and to learn and continue learning. Um, you know, it's one of those things where I really sit back and say, damn, now, and looking at from then to now, how much I would say I've improved better than than literally how I was before. So it's a learning process, and I'm still learning.
Now, Selena has come up with a great question. I kind of want to guess one of the reasons it's different. Selena asks, how is it different from real to the internet for booking? Now, I think one thing you need to consider, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, the actual skill of the performer. Because in the game, anyone can do anything, really. If you need someone to do an hour-long Ironman classic, everyone can do that in the game. Real life, not so much.
Yeah, Lord, I've seen that. In the booking aspects, creative aspects, it's the same. I take wrestler A, say, okay, you're going to wrestler B, you're going to do this stuff in the ring, and hope that in the real life that they can actually follow through. With the internet version of our virtual version, let's put it that way. It's better to say virtual version. It is much easier because the characters are going to do the outcome. You know what's going to happen. Sometimes there is stuff that we have to stop the match and restart it over because the wrong character won, or we missed an opportunity to get the finish in or something like that. But honestly, the promos and booking of it all is, I think it's much better at it than, because we know they look at someone like TMX and say, okay, TMX is going to start a feud with this guy. And it's not, we know what their characters can do in the ring, but my thing now is to sit back and says, okay, can either one deliver on a promo that's going to be enticing? Can they get that emotion in? Can they get me motivated enough to book them again? In real professional wrestling, it's the same way. Can this person motivate me enough to rebook them again? And gratefully, everybody has been doing this. And sometimes it makes it hard because, okay, damn, this guy is ready for the next level, but
I I want to
they
correct you
got
on
so
one
many people
thing.
up there.
I want to
Go
correct
ahead.
you on one thing. Everyone who's still around has been able to do that.
Yes. You know, it's, you know, I won't mention names. I'm not going to mention names, but we've had people who started out strong, but then dropped out of limbo. Um, and who had promise. who could have made it more. And I'm going to say this right now, and I want to get it out of my way for the talent that is listening, and they'll probably listen to this afterwards, but whatever. All we ask is for one set of promos a month, one day where you can just sit down and do promos. We thanks to Marvin, we have the roadmap of where your characters are going to go. So if you sit back and look at, oh, I'm booked here, I'm booked there, I'm booked there, I'm booked there against this certain person, take a day and do a promo. Get them done out of the way. If you want to change it later on before the show, before at least a couple of days before the show would be preferred, do so. But you've got a list now that you can say, okay, I'm doing this, 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 this. Hit us with promos. That's all I ask. One time a month. If you can get them all done, get them out of the way. Not only it improves our show, but improves overall performance of how we're going to put these shows together. And it keeps us all motivated because your promos are what makes everybody else want to be better. And TMX, seeing how the competition, and Anthony, the Hellbilly, is improved greatly. So I'm glad that dynamics between the two are picking up. So, booking is that way. I got to see who's going to move here, who's going to go there. And then when we sit for a creative meeting, Marvin and Jeremy and LG, I got to listen to everybody and they'll know my stance. They'll know where I want to go. And then hearing, no, well, Scully, let's do it this way, or let's do it this way. And then we got to compromise and we say, okay, let's do it. So booking the internet version is a lot easier than the real life version because even though the guys and girls in the real life version can perform, you got to make sure that their promos and their performance match up in real life. So a person could do a great promo in real life and suck in the ring, or they could do a lousy promo and they can be excellent in the ring. It's very similar.
Now, about the creating of the matches, you did mention taking a lot of inspiration from David, and I do want to say, I've seen David started doing these things, and it's pretty amazing to see how well he's taken to this. Um, Again, punctuality is a bit of a thing with David. Um, but he's been doing phenomenal with the matches for Zone, and I know you agree with that. Um, so yeah, taking inspiration from him for life and WoW is absolutely the right thing to do. He got me to step up my game too, so that's a good thing. Some friendly competition amongst ourselves on who can create the better matches. Basically, that's a good thing.
And let me just say this. There are times he does stuff with the game physics and the gameplay that I've never seen before. So we've seen like people get good example. Marvin remind me on the show when somebody threw Dutch, the character Dutch. Hey, yo man, hey man, he's gonna run, and he tripped and fell and went through a table. Remember that?
That was Halloween
Nobody
Horror.
put him through a table. He just fell through the table.
That was Halloween Horror. That was actually one of my matches,
Yes,
but
yeah.
yeah,
But
there's a lot
to
of fun.
see that, to see that and then see how he does matches and the characters do a certain thing and he could set them up, it is something that says, man, oh, like I said, even you, which you did that motivates me. I got to do better. I got to find a way to get this. Sometimes I got to elevate it a little bit. Sometimes we're going to make an extreme match. We're going to do this. It's all about booking. And one of the great things in this promotion is that there is three brands that battle against each other. Even though I do the matches for both, it's still, you know, and technically we could say four because you and Jeremy do Slam and Stream and the big shows. So we have our zone, which David covers. We have live and wild that I cover, and then Slam and Stream and big shows. and to see the level of each show go up, I have to remember that I got to make WoW exciting enough and try to make it outdo Zone, and then Zone hits it out of the park, and then now I got to go higher and try to make live either chaotic or something, and then you guys deliver with Slam and Stream or Big Show. You're like, I think that in itself is great because, like I said, David, yourself, Jeremy, when you guys do these shows, I sit back and I'm like, wow, I got to do better now. Thankfully, with new AI technology, thank you, Monica, um, with the new stuff that we've seen coming out that we can do, um, I think honestly, it's our organization or promotion. The promotion, I think, is going to keep growing leaps and bounds, because I'm still learning, everybody's still learning, but that creativeness, that teamwork, it's keeps me motivated. I stopped watching today's wrestling and I look forward to sitting down, even though it's in a virtual setting, it's seeing your matches, seeing LG's matches, seeing how I put mine together, and then seeing with the commentary. That's motivating. That keeps me like, I hate wrestling. Oh, but I love this. Let's keep going. That's what makes
Yeah.
us keep getting stronger. Keeps me motivated to make stupid characters like the Ding Dongs.
Well, when you say that, I just regret everything. Yeah, I regret my entire life. I regret the last 3 years. If the ding dongs are the results of that, I really need to look at my life and see where things went wrong. That's one
hey,
thing.
hey, we started out. Let me just say this: we started out. Cooper Potter set the stable. Okay, when that AI character did that, it made him a superstar. And then look at him; he's in a feud with Chim. Um, I just didn't think of anything. We needed jobber characters, folks. Come on, Cooper Potter. Come on, Cooper Potter caused all this. Yes, Jim, he's your misery. Um, and it's my insanity. So think about it when you create a character and it's a jobber character like the Ding Dongs, like Cooper Potter, the Stevens, and you sit back and they all of a sudden somehow the AI says, no, we're going to do something to make them a little bit better, or it's just an accident and it happens. And fans like Terry, like Selena, like Monica, like everybody else who joins to watch our shows, and even our own talent can say, let's go Cooper Potter. Man, maybe this could be worth it. Maybe we can elevate this guy, and we give him theme music, and then it gets better. Then you're moving him up. That's the stuff that I really enjoy out of our promotion. We're not afraid to take that dare. Has all characters been successful? Not really. But the ones that you could see where people get motivated behind, you know, I've seen people get like I've had conversation with Terry, I had conversation with Selena, I had conversation with Monica, and other people who watch our shows who are real wrestlers who watch our show. Hey, they all tell me I get inspiration by watching that person. I get inspiration watching this person. That character's funny. I want to see more of it. Those are the feedback that I love hearing because it says, okay, what do we do next? What can we do? And you've seen from a little jobber character like Cooper Potter to getting shots at Chim, to feuding with Chim and the Ninjas, to the Ding Dongs and their theme song that will be debuting on their next showing.
Oh boy.
Honestly, you leave them alone, Mr. Dallas, Anonymous.
Gladly.
You know, you
I don't
know,
know to get anywhere near them.
it's funny. And in the women's division, you have what is it? The two space girls, Spirit and what is it, Trinity or something like that. And I created them, and I don't really remember their name. But you got those two that are the kind of the comedy type girls. You know, th- that's how we look at it. And if it works, it works, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have quite a few announcements for tonight. And I want to start off with one of the probably least exciting ones. A little bit of change in schedule, which is something for next year, but it's something worth mentioning now. Um, Something people might have noticed is that we have a very nice period of 3 months between Halloween Horror, our winter event, and Wrestle Clash. Then from Wrestle Clash to Summer Bash, it's only 4 months, and from Summer Bash to Halloween Horror, it's two. We're gonna change that slightly. Summer Bash is gonna move to July, as we just discussed before we went on. Just to make sure
Right,
everything.
Jeremy.
I I did mention it to Jeremy before,
Okay.
and I said I was gonna run it by you. Um, but yeah, it's just to make sure the shows flow better and we have a consistent amount of months to build towards the next big event. Speaking of, we're not gonna do Warzone in January.
Yeah. Marvin, do you still have that little video I sent you?
I did not prepare that. Whoops. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, use the one I sent you. But while he's getting that together, um, Warzone, Warzone, the event, and we've seen it. It's been a staple with us for 2 years straight.
Just in
Always the
case,
organization.
just in case anyone's
Hey,
wondering, I need to download it, and conversations are private. So if I'm going to change things in Discord, no one needs to see.
yeah, he doesn't need to show that the color underwear I'm wearing. The We've seen the war zone. We always call it the big show war zone. That was our January stuff. The biggest factor is that also was a match. So it turned out to be that match where it's the main event. It's one of the biggest things on the show. And it was two teams of four that get in it's the war games. Basically, it is the war games. And we needed to, after much discussion.
Welcome back on screen.
Okay, there we go. So with much needed, we came up with another big match. And, we've decided that the other big match. Come here, dog. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Up. Hey, you're pulling the green screen, you flaming idiot. Come here. Up. Oh, you're gonna see the banes of my pain here. Let me see here. There he is. That's my boxer. He's a cowardly Rocky. The we added a big match for that event coming up. With that, there was the conflicts, Marvin. We have WWO Zone, and then we had War Zone. When we added this new match, we says, man, this match is going to be now the main event because it's the way it's structured. And it's going to be now moving forward, the main event. Leave the doggo alone. No, they bother me. Leave the Scully alone.
It should be prepped, by the way, so let me know when to play it.
Okay. So we decided to come up with a new thing. To change the Warzone name of the show into just a match. So that match, or should I say the show, is different. The match stays Warzone. It's still the War Games. But with much discussion and much voting amongst each other, Marvin, show it off. Hopefully the sound comes out too.
Tiny disclaimer, I did not test this, so I have no idea if it's actually going to play.
In a world where power, glory, and deception collide, forces will battle it out for honor and pride. This winter, the battle begins. Welcome to Winter War.
There we have it.
Now we bring it back to us. There we go.
So yeah,
So
January.
January's big event is no longer Warzone. It is now named WWO Winter War. And the war aspect of it is now we have the War Zone, which is the cage match, the war games. And then Marvin, we've actually come up with the name for the new main event. You know,
Yes. The new match.
It is.
Yeah, the new match is going to be called Battle Cage. And if you wonder what is a battle cage, we could go into all kinds of semantics and try to explain what it is. It's off script. It's a WWE game. It's the Elimination Chamber. Let's not beat around the bush, but we're gonna call it Battle Cage. Something I'm absolutely looking forward to because I love the match stipulation and we haven't done anything with it. So yeah, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, it is. When it was brung up to do this type of match, we had to put in, it is going to be the top tier guys. It's going to be qualifying matches that's going to be going in there and boom, main event. It's either going to be for glory, guts, or whatever, or championships. We still have to iron out the dynamics for the next Winter War and for the next Battle Cage. But as of right now, this is going to be a much see event because folks, you got to see this. Winter War is going to be you think Halloween Horror was good? Winter War is shaping up to be better.
I think it's fair to say, and we can announce that with Battle Cage, obviously making it such a marquee match, it's going to be for the World Championship.
Yes,
I think we can safely say that. Which yeah, you mentioned we're gonna have qualifying matches, which will happen in December, and I think we had a plan to announce the qualifying matches at Slam and Stream this month.
Yes.
So we should definitely stick to that. There are a couple of fun matches. So how do you pick who is best to feud against? We're gonna go into the question in just a little bit because that's a good match. Good question. But yeah, we will have the Battle Cage for the world title. Obviously, the world champion is gonna be in. We're gonna have 5 qualifying matches over the course of December to decide who's going into that chamber.
Who's going to get into that chamber and who's going to battle it out? It is elimination. So right now, the winner will either be, the champion walking out of it, will Jeremy retain, or would somebody else come in? There's so many things that could be possible. Hey, who knows? Wade could be in there. Will him and Jeremy get along? Will he help Jeremy prevail? Will you and Johnny be in there? Will you guys be able to fight it out? You guys going to fight it out. So
who knows? Who knows?
This is the best thing about it is we want to keep you fans guessing. We want you fans to be enjoying. Yes, dog. So, but you big animal. This is Godzilla who's going to eat me. They want to go out, but so we'll probably have to wrap this up in a bit.
It's the one type of show he can actually steal shine, so let him.
Yeah. But yeah, those are things where, this is going to be a great show to watch. And I can't wait to see how once it's completed, even though we know the results, we know what's going on. So to see the show completed, that's great,
Yeah.
So
Now, obviously, like you mentioned, Warzone is still going to be a match, and we are going to have Warzone. Do you want to say the teams? Because we've kind of already established them. It might be a little bit premature, but I think it's fun to mention.
Well, let's do this too, because my dog is chewing on my arm and he wants to pull me away. Like I'm not a chew toy, damn it. Even the animals don't give me no respect. I'm Rodney Dangerfield of the WWO. I get no respect. We have for the main event for the War Zone, Winter War, it is Team Cooper Potter, Jim taking on Chim's Dojo. So all of Chim's ninjas, the two ninja red and gray, and then you got Kobayashi, and then you have Ninja Blade or Ninja Kick or whatever, taking on Cooper Potter, the farmers, and I forgot the other person that's thrown in there.
Chosen.
Shameful for me to forget.
Chosen. Say Chosen.
Was it Chosen?
Yes.
We'll figure that out.
It was Chosen.
It was Chosen. That's just supposed to show you how that team really is not catching my eye. The dojo, go ninja, go ninja, go. It's really my thing. But Marvin, we do have a pre-show.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun to do for Halloween Horror, to do a pre-show of the pre-show, and we're gonna have multiple matches this time. Because on the last one it was just one big ass gauntlet that some stupid idiot decided to record.
Yeah.
On that pre-show,
Painful.
We are going to have another Warzone, and that one is going to be all women.
Yep. Chim, your women's division is going to shine. So it's basically Team Allison Cassidy going up against Team Selena Sindel. So, there you go. You're going to have that. The matches will be announced throughout the month leading up to that, to Winter War. I would like to say, I don't want to give everything away because we want to get you fans interested. But Marvin, with the Battle Cage, with Warzone, titles on the line, you guys got to see more of it. And with that, folks, I think I'm going to have to call it here because Marvin, my dogs are screaming at me and I got to get ready to record.
Yes.
Zone, excuse me.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you for joining. Obviously, be sure to come back here on this channel tomorrow for our very next show, which is going to be recorded tonight. So that's always fun. Which is, of course, WWO Zone. Next week, I will be joined by Miss G, like I mentioned before. Not sure what day. Monday or Tuesday. Should be 7 EST. Keep an eye on the Discord, because I will spam everyone in there to let everyone know. And you want to say something?
Marvin, yes, I wanted to show you this. Folks, WWO, the virtual company, is also a real company. We've had real wrestlers like Jason Knight, who was the former ECW television champion. He was a WWO champion. If you watched our shows from last year and the year before, Indie Icon Magic was a WWO champion. We've had tag champs. Marvin, I actually found this while cleaning out, getting the Christmas stuff out. That is an actual ticket. Let me see if I can put it right there. There we go. The official first ticket that we did. Let me see here. I got to try to catch it on screen enough. Let me see. Where is it? Come on. There we go. The first ever real ticket of Summer Bash.
Nice. That's cool.
So this was a real ticket. This is a real ticket when we did a big event inside a big mall. They wanted us to come in and we did. This was at Mid One. There was prizes and all that. And this basically is the real official ticket of WWO Summer Bash. So I'm going to try to put those matches together so you folks can see them. But you know what? Send Marvin any questions. Send me any questions that you have. Make sure, like, I'm always interested in talking to everybody, finding out, getting feedback. I want to have feedback because with feedback, that's what keeps our shows going. I know Marvin, you and Jeremy spend a lot of time in the open office for everybody to.
Hi folks, post live edit here for the YouTube. Last week when I had Jeremy on the show, we mentioned how live has a couple of benefits and also a couple of cons. Live being that we can connect with the viewers and talk and answer questions and all that, One of the major cons is that whenever something goes wrong on a live recording, um, you can't really fix it. So, yeah, we had two crashes on this one. We went through all the topics, and it took a while before my laptop was ready to do anything again. So Scully, in the meantime, went out to walk his dogs and started recording the show that's gonna be seen tomorrow or whenever. It kind of depends on when this goes live on the YouTube. But yeah, I want to say thank you for watching. It's been a lot of fun having Scully on the show. Like I wanted to mention, we have Miss G coming up next week. We have Zone coming up tomorrow. Again, kind of depends on when this goes live on the YouTube. We will have live next week, and we'll try to figure out some fillings for the gaps. Anyway, thank you for watching, and since this is YouTube exclusive content right here, make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever we go live and post stuff. Again, thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.